several hours after the sun disrupted the company's satellite signal. Once again, stocks are set to rise today on Wall Street. Chuck Kamlick, CNBC.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-597-4816. That's 1-800-597-4816. 1-800-597-4816. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
You're listening to KCAA, Loma Linda, California. The best station in the nation.
California headline news. Service on Ace commuter train suspended after last night's derailment outside San Francisco. A tree falling out of the tracks, apparently forcing two of the cars off the tracks, one of them into a swollen creek. Russell Blackman was one of the passengers and suffered a shoulder injury.
Our car went off the track and stopped right at the edge, which was a blessing, you know.
The investigators believe the tree that fell may have been damaged by the weak storms. Former First Lady Nancy Reagan will be buried Friday at the Reagan Library in Simi Valley next to the former president.
President Reagan's already buried here, and he faces the Pacific Ocean. He faces west, just as were his wishes, and both of their wishes is that they would lay at rest together.
John Hubish with the Reagan Library says among the invited guests at the funeral will be former President George W. Bush, First Lady Michelle Obama, former First Ladies Rosalind Carter and Laura Bush. A short pursuit in San Bernardino this morning ends in a fatal crash that killed an innocent driver. 2 men in custody. Geico weather, more showers today in the northern part of the state. Jeff Scott, California News.
Would you like the security of a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage refi with our lowest payment possible, all without paying closing costs? Well, Cash Call Mortgage has a 30-year rate special starting at a rate so low, our lawyer won't let us say it on the radio. So call and find out how much this 30-year rate will cut your monthly payment while still knocking down your current loan balance. And the best part of all is the rate is fixed. The lawyer's right. It's a little complicated to explain on the radio. So call 877-890-CASH to find out how it works.
What? You'll cut my payment with no fees of any kind, and my balance will still go down?
Yep. Paying an interest rate below 3% really makes a big difference. To find out how big, just call 877-890-CASH. That's 877-890-CASH to slice your monthly payment now.
Impact Mortgage Corp. DBA Cash Call Mortgage. Equal housing lender. Call 855-657-9910 for terms and restrictions. California Department of Business Oversight. Residential Mortgage Lender. Law License 4131-1083. NMLS 128231.
That's 877-890-CASH.
It's time for your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker. In Temecula, we have an accident. The shoulder is blocked on the 15 southbound at Rancho California Road. The 15 south before Rancho California, crash declared on the right shoulder. The traffic is slow from the 215. The 215 south is slow from Los Alamos Road. In Chino, stop-and-go traffic on the 60 westbound between Central Avenue and Ramona Avenue. The 210 west is slow from Campus to San Dimas. The 10 west is slow in pockets from Euclid to the 57. In Corona, stop-and-go traffic on the 91 westbound between McKinley Street and the 15. The 91 west is slow and go from McKinley to Gypsum Canyon. The 71 south is slow from Euclid to the 91. In Moreno Valley, slow traffic on the 215 northbound between Alessandro Boulevard and East Ridge Eucalyptus Avenue. In Moreno Valley, 215 north is slow from Alessandro to University. This has been your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker.
Lakers head coach Byron Scott opens up on open season Thursday at 3:05 p.m. I'm Larry Burnett. Tune in for the coach and join open season right here on KCAA AM 1050, FM 106.5.
Psst. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Do you know where you are? Well, you've done it now. You're listening to KCAA Loma Linda, your CNBC news station. So expect the unexpected.
When I wake up, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. When I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. If I get drunk.
Good morning. I'm Aaron Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. So excited to have you with us this morning. Got to say good morning to Brandon McCormick. How you doing, Brandon?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
Are you alive, alert, awake, and enthusiastic?
All of those things always.
Always. Good. Very good. I haven't done this in a while, but I want to make sure everybody knows all the ways they can listen to KCAA. You can find us at 1050 on the AM dial, at 106.5 on the FM dial, at kcaaradio.com, and there you'll find links to all of our social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. You'll also find our embedded Ustream feed. We have a camera in the studio. There's a button to click directly and listen online if you don't want to watch online. You just want to listen. Maybe you're at your office, at your desk. If you have an Android device and you want to be able to listen no matter where you are, go to kcaaexpress.com. If you've got an Apple device and you want to be able to listen no matter where you are, including podcasts for both of those, you use the TuneIn app, search for KCAA Radio. The TuneIn app is free, by the way, and our show is listed as the morning show on the TuneIn app. If you have none of the above, you can call to listen at 832-999-1050, 832-999-1050. There was a horrific crash yesterday morning here in San Bernardino, and I'm sure people have heard about it, but it's important to talk about it. A short police pursuit of a stolen car in San Bernardino Tuesday morning ended in a fatal crash that killed an innocent driver who was headed home from working an overnight shift. The pursuit began at about 20 to 5 when officers tried to stop a stolen car they had spotted being driven near the intersection of West Baseline Road and North Sierra Way. The car accelerated and eventually went into onto the 215 freeway with officers in pursuit. This is according to San Bernardino Police Department Lieutenant Richard Lawhead. Only about 5 minutes after the chase began, the car exited the freeway on 5th Street and struck a vehicle that was headed eastbound. The suspect's car hit the driver's door and nearly split the vehicle in half. An innocent driver, a man in his 30s, was killed in the crash, according to Lawhead. It's the worst scenario that plays out. Somebody innocent gets hurt, Lawhead said. We have to strike a balance. We want to stop the criminal, but we don't want innocent lives lost in the process. A close friend told KTLA the victim was Cornelius Corn Holly of Victorville, saying the man had just gotten off his graveyard shift and was headed home when the crash occurred. 2 men who were in the stolen car were taken into custody following the crash. The driver was identified by Lawhead as 18-year-old Damian Garcia of San Bernardino. The passenger was Ricardo Cerda, also of San Bernardino. He is 21. Relatives of the pursuit suspect and the victim went to the crash scene but did not want to speak to reporters. And so Tobin and I got into a discussion about, should property crimes like stealing a car end up in a chase?
Yeah, and I think that the police are under a lot of they have a lot of responsibility, and obviously early in the morning like this, and this was a fairly quick chase, so I don't think the police had a chance to really get their bearings here on exactly what was going on. But these guys, obviously it was a stolen car, and they want to catch them and get them arrested. But when it ends in a death like this, particularly a death of an innocent, you have to go back and ask yourself about your pursuit policies. And typically, police have changed their policies that they don't go into these high-speed pursuits for this kind of crime because about 30% of the time they end in a crash that injures an innocent victim. And so this is something that they are trying to avoid.
And I hear that, and to me it just doesn't. And I get that people end up getting hurt, like this man who lost his life, which is really horrible. I mean, he has a family, and he's just coming home from work and he gets T-boned by a couple of idiots who, by the way, need to be tried for murder, not vehicular manslaughter, murder in the commission of another crime, which is stealing a car. So, if they had robbed a bank and shot someone, there'd be special circumstances attached to the murder of that person during the commission of a crime. I think this should be no different. I think the death penalty should be on the table for these two idiots.
Yeah, and I agree with that aspect of it. I'll tell you, though, you might remember back in the 80s and 90s that we went through a period where there was car chases on the news every night, and they were some of the most highly rated, newscasts. People were sort of stuck gripping, watching the TV, screaming and yelling. And then in instances, especially if these were long chases, people would actually go out on the streets, and you'd see people waving at the cars and the cameras, and and this actually caused them to do a study. And what they found was about a third of these things ended in, serious accidents, and also lots of lawsuits. And law enforcement and cities were being the ones that were being sued at the end of these things, and often ending in large payouts. And so the police departments went back and reevaluated their policies. And basically, unless this is a violent, dangerous criminal, they don't chase. That they're not supposed to chase. Because oftentimes what ends up at the end of this thing is that it's not worth it. That the results are not worth it.
But and I get that. But here's my challenge. What that tells me is that if you steal a car, just run, because they're not going to chase you.
Yeah. Look, they do have other ways of catching these people, and again. If they have time, they can get the helicopters in, and they can do other things. But going into the high-speed chase, where this guy is flying at 100 miles an hour, down, residential streets or whatever, and this guy was coming off the freeway in this particular accident that we're talking about this morning, but he was flying, and he went through a red light. If there had been no cops behind him, he probably would have come to a normal stop and been driving at a normal speed. And not running through red lights and things like that would draw attention to the fact that he's in a stolen car.
Okay, but who's responsible for that?
I understand that he's responsible because he stole the car.
And he's the one who decided to drive 100 miles an hour. And he's the one that decided not to stop at the red light. He's the one that it's the criminals who are at fault.
I get that. And there's actually a group now, they're pushing a law, it's called Christie's Law, and this would give law enforcement immunity from damages that came from this kind of pursuit. And I kind of have mixed feelings about that. On the one hand, I think that, you do want to protect law enforcement. We can't have cities being shut down because of things like this, they happen. But at the same time, I worry about that kind of immunity then making cops willing to take more risky situations on that they maybe shouldn't. And so, this is a difficult situation. But I think generally speaking, the risk of getting the car back versus the risk of someone losing their life, hey, I'd be on the side of protecting people's lives.
Okay, but you're assuming that every case is only because a car was stolen. And this one, like you said, it was very short. It was a short pursuit.
Yeah.
And I don't know that the cops, they're following a stolen car, and within a matter of minutes, it turns deadly. I mean, again, I'm so tired of what's happened in our culture, where the people who commit the crimes, the people who commit the bad behavior, are not the ones responsible. And we've seen this in our schools. And if Junior gets a bad grade, they go to the teacher and say, "What did you do wrong?"
Yeah.
And it's no, Junior got a bad grade because Junior didn't do any homework, or Junior failed both of his tests, or, Junior was getting in fights in class and got himself suspended. That's Junior's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I get it. But, a lot of times these pursuits start with something minor, and that end up escalating into the much more major crime. Another aspect that sometimes happens is when the cops are chasing like this, their adrenaline gets up, and at the end of the chase, when they're running this guy down, if he's run away from the vehicle or whatever, they often then have excessive force charges, and we've seen this in the media as well, where because they're so amped up from the chase that they then take out the clubs and end up beating somebody who they don't necessarily need to do that to, who's already at that point.
Well, then those cops need to be disciplined.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that there are some bad outcomes that come from these kinds of chase situations, and so that's why they've created policies now to try to reduce them.
It just sounds to me like you are blaming the police officers.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that there are, we got to look at what policies work best at balancing protecting human life and protecting property. And I think that, if it means that you don't get the guy right this minute and we save some lives, but we still, it doesn't mean the guy's going to get away with it. That's the thing. It's not like the cops are just going to give up and say, oh, we're not going to go chase cars ever again. There are other ways to get these guys better situations that they can get through other kinds of evidence. I just think that, we got to be smart about it.
So it is 6:16. It's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. We'll be right back.
For more local radio every day, tune into KCAA Loma Linda.
Hi, this is Steve Alladort from Rancho Financial with the Mortgage Minute. With property values increasing, this might be the perfect time to do a loan checkup to see if it makes sense to refinance. Do you have an equity line? If your equity line is getting close to 10 years old, your payment is about to fully amortize. Coupled with the certainty that the feds will soon increase short-term rates, there might be a substantial jump in payment on your line of credit. If we combine your current loan, equity line, and possibly even some of your credit debt, there could be a substantial reduction in what you have to pay each month. Do you have VA eligibility? VA will allow 100% cash-out financing. This may be a perfect time to use your eligibility. We can go 85% cash out with FHA or 80% with a standard conventional loan. There are many possible options that could make a huge difference in your monthly payments. That's why you need a loan financial planner to provide you with all of your possible options. Give me a call, Steve Alladort, at 888-563-1070. That's 888-563-1070, or go to loanfinancialplanner.com.
Looking for a great cover band or one of the world's top tribute artists for your corporate event? You've come to the right place. David Levin Entertainment, Southern California's premier entertainment company, serving the Inland Empire, Orange County, Los Angeles, and San Diego. Call us at 650-282-5009 or visit us online and watch the videos at davidlevinent.com. That's davidlevinent.com.
Tune in to the Wolfman Jack Show every Friday and Saturday night at midnight. Brought to you by Empire Clinical Research. Have a cold or flu or other ailment? Interested in helping advance medicine? Well, you're invited to participate in a paid comparison study. Discover a rewarding experience at Empire Clinical Research, located on historic Route 66 in Upland. At Empire, we specialize in conducting clinical studies for pharmaceutical companies seeking FDA approval or gathering data on the forefront of clinical research. Empire Clinical Research conducts all studies in a controlled, convenient, safe atmosphere for paid comparison studies in acne, arthritis of the knee, sleeping disorders, high blood pressure, constipation, and seasonal flu. You can help, get paid, and make a difference. Call to see 909-981-5321. That's 909-981-5321, or visit EmpireClinicalResearch.com.
Tired of spending too much money on an ad and then trying to find your ad in the newspaper, buried among hundreds, even thousands of other ads? Isn't it time you got a great deal when you were trying to sell that car, that dining room set, that refrigerator, or offering your handyman services? Now you can in the Nickel Shopper. For as little as $7.50 per week, your ad can be seen by thousands of eyeballs in the high desert, and they're getting the Nickel Shopper for free. Call today to place your ad in the Nickel Shopper, 760-646-3654, or go to thenickelshopper.com for all the details, 760-646-3654. The Nickel Shopper, now in the IE. Listen to KCAA Loma Linda for less confrontation and more information.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. Got a story of some pretty bad behavior. Another story of some pretty bad behavior. Tobin, you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, this one's kind of wild. The principal is living in a motel now, Aaron, after students allegedly burned down his family home. The principal's name is Mark Helliker, and his wife Lori and their 24-year-old daughter Katie were home the night of the inferno. Their son Brian was away at college. He'll be home in a week, and I don't think he's going to stay here, Helliker said, in his son's room, which is above the garage. Authorities say that the hours after the February 22nd fire, that a high school posted on social media. High school student posted on social media an emoji of flames with the message, "Burn, bleep, burn." 3 high school students and 1 middle schooler were arrested for burning down the home, police said. 1 suspect has been charged with first-degree arson, and the other 3 have been charged with conspiracy to commit arson. All 4 will be reportedly tried as adults. 2 of the students had recently been suspended after a school investigation into prescription drug use, according to Payette Police Chief Mark Clark. Investigators say the students deliberately set the fire out of revenge and then ghoulishly watched from a distance as the house burns. The arrests have shocked the close-knit city of Payette, Idaho. The principal, who's been on the job for 9 years and says he knows all of the 430 students at the school, of which he himself is an alum, Clark said that they could actually see the fire raging, fully engulfed, and one of them made a comment, you know what? That blank deserves this. They never called 911. They had to know that people were in the home sleeping. The principal and his wife, who is a teacher, say the incident hasn't deterred them from believing in their students. We've spent 20 years looking out for the best in children, Lori Helliker said, and that's not going to change because 4 of them made a really bad decision. This is just mind-blowing.
And I wouldn't say it's a really bad decision. I would say 4 of them are evil.
Yeah,
I mean, you set fire to a house that you know a family's inside, and then you don't call 911.
So, they mentioned the charges for the arson or attempted arson. I would say charges for attempted murder.
I would agree.
I mean, these people, like you said, they're asleep inside the house. I mean, you put their lives at risk. The fact that they're alive today is really a miracle.
Yes, because you tried to kill them.
Yeah,
because you did a bad job of trying to kill them. Thankfully,
yeah.
You should be tried for attempted murder.
Yeah, I mean, what if they had didn't have fire alarms in the house? I mean, I don't even know if they did, but assuming they didn't have any way of waking themselves up or being warned.
What if they just were deep sleepers?
Yeah.
And what if there'd been an explosion? What if there was something in the garage that had ignited and had exploded? That their daughter. No, the son wasn't there. His room was above the garage. At any rate, you never know what's in a house. They could have had canisters of gasoline for a lawnmower.
Yeah.
They could have had, anything in there.
Yeah. This is ridiculous. And I've been teaching for 21 years, and occasionally you see kids that the switch flips in their brain, and for whatever reason, their immaturity, the evil that's in their hearts, they act out on it. And you worry as a teacher about those kids because you want to see the best in people, you want to try to bring out the best in people, but sometimes when kids get consequences for bad things, they suddenly, in their mind, they can't internalize that they made a mistake and that they need to fix what they've done. Instead, they want to blame everyone else and they want to lash out, and that's when you get this kind of really bad actions.
But lashing out, when you think of what kids would do, lashing out would be letting the air out of their tires.
Yeah.
Which is a nuisance. It's a pain in the neck. It's a property crime, but nobody's going to die.
Yeah.
It's somebody who would make a mean post on social media.
Yeah.
Something like that. But it's not setting someone's home on fire and watching it as it burns.
When I was a middle school student myself, I saw a kid get upset at a teacher and take a swing at the teacher, right? I mean, that was a kid losing his cool. And, not only did he miss when he took a swing, but the teacher then, who had a background in wrestling, took the kid to the ground, pinned him very quickly, and, had security there in a heartbeat. And that kid was, looked and felt foolish,
Yes.
And, I mean, that's typical. I mean, you have that momentary, hot flash, your anger ignites and whatever. But this was this happened at school. Then they had time to go home and plan. Then they went out in the middle of the night and did this, brought other kids into it. I mean, this was not like
no, this is psychopathic behavior.
Yeah, this wasn't like the spur of the moment, I'm angry at you. This is a rage that builds and builds with planning, and I mean, this is a serious problem.
So, have you ever had a situation where a student threatened you?
Yeah, twice. The first one was when I was early in my career. I was teaching high school, and I had a student who was a gang student, who was flashing his colors in class and had drug paraphernalia on him. And I confiscated the colored bandana, which he had just flashed at someone as a way to intimidate them, and a little magic 8-ball that he had that was, you're not supposed to have these because it symbolized drug use. So anyway, I took the 2 items from the student. He did not like that I took the 2 items from them. He stood up. The kid was bigger than I was. He was a high school student. He was over 6 foot tall, a couple 100 pounds, and he backed me up against a wall, threatened to beat me up if I didn't give him his things back. Now, thankfully, at the time, I was in a team teaching situation, so it was myself and another teacher in the room, and the other teacher immediately came over as this was happening, and the two of us were able to sort of back the student down to get him to step back and not do anything. He did not take a swing, but he was verbally demanding and threatening to me.
Physically threatening.
And he ended up getting suspended and expelled for that. Was out of school for a year. For a full year because of the expulsion, was sent to an alternative school site. When he came back the following year, he was on campus for 1 day and did something so foolish that he got expelled again.
What did he do? Do you remember?
It was a school-wide assembly, and in the gymnasium, he took a poster off of the wall, folded it into the shape of a giant airplane, and then lit it with a lighter and flew it. This fiery giant poster airplane flew it over a crowd of several hundred students who began to scream and panic in the stands.
Oh my gosh!
And we're running from this flaming airplane.
I'm sure that kid's in prison right now.
Yeah, and he was laughing the whole time he did it, and was immediately caught by campus security and taken off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, and because you hear about stories about teachers. Well, there have been a lot of stories of teachers taking students down or overreacting, and those have made the news. But it also goes the other way. I mean, when you're in a classroom by yourself, with 30 kids, 30 students, every now and then you're going to come across a student who's not right in the head.
Yeah. More often I've had to intervene when it was student-on-student violence as opposed to students doing something to me, and breaking up fights. And I've had a few that went off in the classroom, and like you said, you're the only one that's there. Now I teach middle school, and so the kids are significantly smaller, so it's not as difficult in terms of separating kids or dealing with it.
Right.
But when I taught high school, a lot of these kids were as big as I was.
And I mean, when you're a junior, senior in high school, often you're as big as a grown man.
Yeah, and so in those situations, it's a little bit scary when you have to step between two full-grown people and try to stop them from harming each other. But that's the mandate, right? We have to protect them.
Right.
I used to be a traveling teacher when I first started my career at the high school level, and I would carry a briefcase with me, and I actually used my briefcase kind of as a shield. If there was a fight, I would step in between them and hold my briefcase up, and they would swing and hit the briefcase or whatever, as I was kind of trying to maneuver and back them
that's clever.
And try to maneuver and back them away from each other. If I had to put myself between them.
So how do you feel about this? So they're going to be the teenagers. The high school students are going to be tried as an adult, and I think I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But the middle school student is also being tried as an adult, and you work with middle school kids. Do they have the judgment that an adult would have?
I don't think so, and I would have to question the propriety of that decision, but I don't know the specific facts of the case, right? I don't know exactly what that middle school kid did as a part of this. Is he the one who, brought the matches? Is he the one who, you know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, what level of involvement was he? If he was just a bystander, if he was just there with them because his brother or one of his friends was, in the group, and
even if he brought the matches,
yeah.
I mean, did he really comprehend what was happening?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm not a child psychologist.
Yeah, well, and that's why they have to ask some deep questions and really do some evaluation before they charge, and maybe that charge will be changed for that young kid. I don't know.
So it is 6:30. It's time for a break. I'm Aaron Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. We'll be right back.
KCAA Loma Linda. your CNBC news station for the Inland Empire.
Here's the latest. I'm Tiffany Griffith. A big surprise in Michigan as the expected winner, Hillary Clinton, loses to Bernie Sanders.
But I just want to take this opportunity to thank the people of Michigan who kind of repudiated the polls that had us 25 points down a few days ago.
Sanders says the results of last night's contest proves his revolution is strong in all parts of the country. Clinton got an overwhelming victory over Sanders in Mississippi last night, while Donald Trump scores wins in Michigan, Mississippi, and Hawaii. Ted Cruz won Idaho's GOP primary. And Clinton and Sanders are set to debate tonight in Miami for a 9 o'clock Univision debate that will also air on CNN. And thousands are expected to flock to Simi Valley, California today to bid Nancy Reagan farewell. The former First Lady will lie in repose at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library, with public viewings set for 1 o'clock this afternoon until 7 tonight Pacific time. Reagan died Sunday at the age of 94. She'll be buried alongside of her husband. You're listening to the latest from 24/7 News.
Time for your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker. In Corona, we have stop-and-go traffic on the 91 westbound between McKinley Street and the 15. The 91 west is slow and go from McKinley to Green River. The 71 south is slow from Euclid to the 91. In Moreno Valley, stop-and-go traffic on the 215 northbound between Alessandro Boulevard and East Ridge Eucalyptus Avenue. Moreno Valley 215 north is slow from Alessandro to University. The 60 west is slow from Pigeon Pass to the 215. In Corona, slow traffic on the 15 northbound between Wyrick Road and Cajalco Road. The Corona 15 north is slow from Wyrick to El Cerrito. This has been your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Ron Pritchard. For this morning, we've got sunny skies, a high near 76. Tonight, mostly clear, low near 52. Thursday, sunny with a high near 80. Thursday night, partly cloudy with a low near 53. Friday, a chance of rain, mostly sunny with a high near 70. Friday night, chance of rain, mostly cloudy, a low near 47. Saturday, chance of rain, mostly sunny with a high near 66. Saturday night, partly cloudy with a low near 48. Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 68. Sunday night, chance of rain, mostly cloudy, a low near 50. Monday, chance of rain, partly sunny, high near 65. Monday night, chance of rain, mostly cloudy, a low near 50. Tuesday, a chance of rain, partly sunny, and a high near 66. That's your weather forecast for this hour from KCAA 106.5 FM and 1050 AM, the stations that leave no listener behind.
For more local radio every day, tune into KCAA Loma Linda.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. Dealing with heavy subjects today.
Yeah.
Well, and I've got another one. So ecstasy caused the death of a UC Irvine student who attended a rave in San Bernardino County. And this is according to the coroner. UC Irvine student who died after attending a rave in San Bernardino County last year fatally overdosed from the illegal drug ecstasy, the coroner said. The official cause of death was an acute toxicity from MDMA, the chemical name of ecstasy, said Mike Sutcliffe, supervising coroner and investigator for the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. The death of John Huang Din Vo, 22, of San Diego, was the second since 2013 attributed to ecstasy of a person attending a rave at the San Manuel Amphitheater in Devore. Vo went into cardiac arrest after suffering a possible seizure at Insomniac's Beyond Wonderland rave held at the amphitheater, a venue owned by the San Bernardino County. Insomniac is a subsidiary of Live Nation Entertainment. Vo was in his senior year at UC Irvine studying biology.
So he
could have been a doctor, a researcher, you know. What a shame.
And I hate to say this, but he should have known better, right? I mean, if you're studying biology, you got to know what this chemical does. And this is such a heartbreaking story because I've actually been to some of these raves. I went as a city councilman when they were in San Bernardino to check out what was happening, and I was appalled. I mean, it's literally sort of a protected zone for drug use. Now, our police officers are there. They're doing the undercover work. They're trying to catch these people. But if
but they're like 10,000 to 50,000 or 80,000 people.
Oh yeah,
these
are
things,
massive
depending
events.
on where they are.
And you just see a ton of people sitting around, stoned out of their minds. And the people who run these things, the promoter for this, they basically build a hospital on site. I got to check out their hospital because they know this is going on. They kind of tacitly encourage it, and the people go to these things because they feel like this is where they can get and do their drugs safely because there is a hospital there. I mean, they really have that mentality. Like, this is a safe place to do these drugs and have fun with their friends. And it's ridiculous, and there have been many sort of high-profile deaths. The big one a couple years ago was at the Forum when they had like a 14-year-old girl who overdosed on this stuff.
And there was some at that point anybody could go into a rave, because they weren't serving alcohol, so they thought the rules that would make it 21 and over, 18 and over didn't apply at that time. Then I think the laws changed in the state of California where you had to be 18 to get into a rave.
Well, I don't know if the laws changed. I know that we as a city put some restrictions on them because the first few raves they had at the National Orange Show, they were letting everybody in, and they were going till 4 a.m. And then we basically put some restrictions on them. We said, no, 18 and up, and you have to be done by 2 a.m., and you can't do your fireworks after midnight, and because they were doing all kinds of stuff that was just creating problems in the community.
Well, do you remember? And they were so loud that people in Grand Terrace, their windows would shake.
Yeah, our windows were shaking, and we're miles away from there.
Yes.
And so this is a real problem, but the drug use is the most problematic aspect of this because, again, so many people, and they feel like they can kind of hide in the numbers, because there's so many people that are doing this stuff that they can get away with it.
You can't arrest them all, right?
Yeah, and there's a false sense of security, that, like I said, I've seen the hospital that they built at the Orange Show for these guys. They had like 30 beds, nurses and doctors and, all kinds of ambulances waiting to go because this happens. This happens every rave.
Here's the thing. I mean, I've gone, and less or so, as an adult, but as a college student, I went to concerts all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I love live shows, but I've got to tell you that I remember there being people getting drunk, and I remember there were some people who were high, but they weren't, people weren't going to the concerts just to get high or drunk. And the concerts that were like that, where people were inebriated the whole time and obnoxious and vomiting in the corner. And those were, I won't go back because I would never go back because it wasn't fun. You're there to hear the music.
Yeah.
But the raves, you're there to experience the music.
Yeah.
And you don't experience the music the same way without that ecstasy.
Yeah. And this ecstasy, again, it's not manufactured in a reputable lab with government guidelines to check to make sure that it's got all the right properties and all this. And so you take a real risk whenever you're using this stuff.
I know that a lot of our kids' friends go to these events, and they make me nervous. I don't know what else to say. I'm not saying they should be banned, but they make me nervous.
Yeah.
And again, this kid, personal responsibility. This biology student should have known better.
Yeah, well, and the thing is that it's easy to sneak pills in to something like this.
Yeah, it's not like you have to light it up.
Yeah.
Or inject it, or you just pop them.
Yeah, and and they're small enough that people. There's lots of places they can hide them, even though they're hardly wearing anything.
Oh, I think I've talked about this before on the air. The first electronic dance party rave that they had at the Orange Show, I saw this guy, and I'm not kidding, a guy walking down the street wearing nothing on top except suspenders, a pink tutu, and combat boots.
Yes.
And I'm like,
standard fare.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. And they were walking long distances. People were, had gotten hotels and all over the city, and they would, because the parking and traffic was a nightmare. They were walking. So that first one, you could just see people walking for miles wearing all their crazy outfits. Crazy
outfits. So, the crime rate has jumped. There was an article that was in the Press Enterprise a couple of days ago about how, or maybe it was last week, about how the crime rate in Riverside County has jumped 7.4% over the last couple of years. we've watched what's happened in San Bernardino, where the murder rate has jumped.
Yeah.
There's increased gang activity and that sort of thing. Killings in Los Angeles jumped 27.5% so far this year.
Whoa, that's massive, and I know I've heard that Chicago obviously has been in the news quite a bit. They've had a big spike too. So it's not just California. It's not just. I mean, we're seeing something happening.
Chicago is a killing field.
Yeah, it is.
It is absolutely unconscionable
but
that people in the United States should live in an area with a murder rate that high.
Yeah.
Why isn't the National Guard going into those neighborhoods in Chicago? Just because you're poor doesn't mean you should live in fear that you or your children are going to be killed just going about your daily lives. It is not okay.
Yep.
And I'm passionate about that. It's not okay.
Wow.
And so, but in Los Angeles, killings in Los Angeles have surged by 27.5% so far in 2016, compared to the same period just last year, as the city continued to see a rise in violent crime. The jump in homicides, along with double-digit increases in aggravated assaults and robberies, meant Los Angeles has experienced a 12.7% rise in violent offenses. And this is according to LAPD Assistant Chief Earl Pasinger. He told this to the commissioners at their weekly meeting on Tuesday. In contrast, property crime has fallen 2%, fueled largely by what Pasinger described as a remarkable 16.2% drop in burglaries. As a result, overall crime is up less than a percentage point from 2015. But, you have to get into the real numbers to find out what that means. The LAPD Central Bureau has seen the largest crime increase at 4.5%. The South Bureau, which covers South LA, has seen a 3% jump. Those two remaining bureaus, which cover West LA and San Fernando Valley, has seen crime decrease compared with the same period last year.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like you said, you really got to get under the surface to look at what's really happening. San Bernardino has seen an increase in a lot of the crime categories as well. And we're not really talking about that yet because we've been sort of so focused on the bankruptcy and other things.
Yes.
But San Bernardino has seen a real uptick in murders and some of the violent crimes as well.
So one of the things that with moving out of the city moving out of bankruptcy is their plan of adjustment, which requires outsourcing of the fire department. And there's a vocal group of people who do not want to pay the $148 a year for this special district, the special fire district with the county.
Yeah.
And that would be the property tax, and it would only be used for fire because that's a special district. That's what it's for. But if we don't do that, then we can't hire cops.
Yeah.
We can't.
Because the flip side of it is it frees up money
Right.
to then be used for other things like hiring those police officers. And our police department is down like 150 something officers from their height. And so, just to begin to replace some of those officers and get our patrols back up to where they used to be, we go a long way towards reducing crime in the city.
In December, on December 2nd, we got to see how talented and how well trained and how professional our police department can be. But they can only be in so many places at once. We need more boots on the ground.
Yeah.
And
I hate to phrase it like this, but on December 2nd, when the terrorist attack occurred, we were in a couple of ways lucky because there just happened to be a group of officers that were training not too far away,
right,
as well as some officers that were on their way to lunch that happened to be close by, that their response time was as quick as it was.
multiple agencies that came out to help.
But it was as quick as it was. You can't count on luck that people are going to be nearby. You want to have enough patrols that there's always coverage.
So we have to talk about the prison reform, the realignment of the prisons here in California, and the impact that has had on the crime rate, which we've just said in a lot of places has gone up, and violent crimes have gone up.
Yeah.
So people are saying, well, you have no proof that AB 109 had anything to do with that. Well, you don't have any proof that it didn't. I think we have to study it, and I know that people have their agendas, but I want to know why we are no longer as safe as we were a couple of years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
We owe that to ourselves so that we can fix the problem.
Yeah, and I just I just get it anecdotally from friends that are police officers. They think AB 109 is a big cause of this. They're talking about these guys as catch and release. They know that these guys are back out on the street. And this is allowing the things to escalate,
And they have. So let's take a break at 6:45. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. We'll be right back.
KCAA Radio, Loma Linda, where no listener is ever left behind.
It's time for the KCAA Community Calendar, brought to you exclusively by Learn for Life.
I'm Mark Westwood with the KCAA Community Calendar. Join Time for a Change Foundation's 13th Annual Star-Studded Awards Gala honoring local community heroes, all in efforts to help homeless women and their families become self-sufficient. This year, orange is the new black star. Taylor Schilling will be present. So register today at timeforchangefoundation.org or help sponsor the event at timeforchangefoundation.org. This Star-Studded Awards Gala will be held Friday, April 15th from 6 till 9 p.m. in Ontario. Call 909-886-2994. And that's the KCAA Community Calendar on 1050 AM and 106.5 FM.
KCAA Community Calendar is presented exclusively by Learn for Life, where students can complete their education on a part-time basis. To find a resource center nearest you, call 1-877-360-LEARN. Are you particular about the vitamins and supplements you take? Have you found that the big chain stores simply don't have what you need? Then you should know about the Vitamin Center of Agora Hills. You'll find rock-bottom prices on gourmet, top-quality vitamins and mineral supplements at the Vitamin Center. Get 30% off on all supplements and homeopathic products. All, not just selected merchandise. In addition, you'll find 30% off on all cosmetics, soaps, shampoos, toothpaste, makeup, hair coloring, and lip gloss. And all tea products are discounted 20%. Why go anywhere else? See for yourself at the Vitamin Center of Agora Hills, or check out the savings and place your order online. VitaminCenterAgoraHills.com. Start saving by getting what you need from the Vitamin Center of Agora Hills. And tell a friend that the Vitamin Center ships nationwide. Call 818-707-0005. That's 818-707-0005. The Vitamin Center of Agora Hills.
In the mood for some great Chinese food? Well, Mr. Yu's Chinese Food is where you need to be. Mr. Yu's Chinese Food not only has a delicious dinner menu, they also offer delicious lunch specials including their yummy fried rice and chow mein. But get this, it also includes any two items just for $5.85. Or you can get any one item for only $4.85. You should also try their Big Bowl special for just $4.10. The service is fast and friendly. Mr. Yu's Chinese Food is located at 256 Carousel Mall in San Bernardino, California. To contact Mr. Yu's Chinese Food, call 909-383-0195. Again, that's 909-383-0195. And yes, the Carousel Mall is still open.
That's right!
San Bernardino, Loma Linda, Rialto listens to KCAA Radio.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. There is a story out of Vietnam that, let's just say I'm sure it makes for uncomfortable dinner conversation.
Yes.
Tobin, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, a Vietnamese couple recently took their 2-year-old fraternal twins for DNA testing and discovered that they have the same mother, but that they shockingly have different fathers. Ooh.
They're twins.
They're twins, right?
Yes.
The couple, whose name has not been released, were pressured from extended family members who noticed that the children did not look alike. Lee Den Luong, president of the Genetic Association of Vietnam, told CNN, according to the news outlet, one child has thick and wavy hair, and the other has thin and straight hair. While this is reportedly the first case of bipaternal twins in Vietnam, a woman in New Jersey had the same revelation in May of 2015.
Honey, you have some splaining to do.
That's right. When the mother was in the process of applying for benefits from the man she claimed was the father of the babies, a paternity test was ordered after she revealed that she had had sex with another man that same week. According to the New York Times, results from the test revealed that he was the father, but only for one of the twins. While it's rare, Dr. Keith Edelman, director of obstetrics at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York, told CNN that it's a definite possibility. A woman's egg has a lifespan of 12 to 48 hours, and a sperm is viable for 7 to 10 days. This makes it possible for 2 eggs to be fertilized by sperm from 2 different men during the same ovulation period.
But here's my thought. So, I'm thinking about our kids, because I think, how do you get to the point of getting the DNA test for both kids?
Yeah.
Our kids don't look alike. Our
Yeah.
daughter has fine, straight hair.
Yeah.
Our son has really thick hair.
Yeah.
Of course, our daughter has my hair.
Yeah.
And our son has your hair.
Yes.
And they don't look alike, though. The shape of their faces are different. But you can find both of us in both of them.
They are so obviously my kids.
They are so obviously. But
Yeah.
they don't look alike. And I guess that was my
Yeah,
point. They
yeah.
don't. And I don't look like my brother.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. But you look very much like your father.
I do.
You have a lot of your father's features. Yeah. No, it's an interesting story. I feel for the couple, because the guy who is just now 2 years later finding out that his wife had a relationship with another man at the same time.
Whoops.
Whoops. And he's been raising these children as his own. This is a tough conversation. And then the social shame as the family members and others, realize and it's a very challenging situation, and I worry for the kids too, growing up in that situation, with the stigma that might be attached to them.
Would there be a stigma, or would they be doing the talk show circuit?
I don't know. Maybe.
30 years ago, maybe there'd been a stigma. I don't know that there would be now.
Yeah.
It depends on the culture, of course. I'm not Vietnamese, but if it happened in the United States, they'd be on Oprah. Well, not Oprah, but the equivalent of Oprah.
I agree.
Today.
I agree. Now, Aaron, I have another story I wanted to share. I didn't put this one into the lineup for you, but it's kind of got a nice little local connection. Do you remember Charisse Wright?
Oh, of course, from Colton High School?
From Colton High School.
Yes.
We love going to high school football games, or should I say I love going to high school football games. But Charisse was part of that wonderful group of kids that won a CIF championship, and just an amazing football player. Or no, I take it back. His group was the one that just missed the CIF championship. It was the group right after him that won it. But Colton High has had a series of great football players that came out of
gone to the NFL.
They've gone to the NFL. And Charisse had played for 3 years for the Chargers down in San Diego. And then the Chargers let him go. He ended up in San Francisco briefly. Didn't quite work out there, and then he quickly got traded off to the Ravens. And last year he was able to play with the Ravens, along with Jimmy Smith, who is another Colton High School alum who's been a star player for the Ravens and actually won a Super Bowl with the Ravens. Jimmy Smith was with them when they won the Super Bowl.
Right on.
And so now they brought Charisse back, and he just signed a 3-year contract. And so I just want to read this story because I think it's really uplifting, and he's a great kid. The Ravens have re-signed quarterback Charisse Wright to a 3-year contract 2 days ahead of the market opening. When Wright signed with Baltimore last season after being released by San Francisco 49ers, he viewed it not as a limited stay, but as a start of what would be a long-term relationship, and of course now that's become a reality. Wright, 28, remains with his best friend and high school teammate Jimmy Smith. The two teamed up to be a formidable starting duo last season, helping to turn around a secondary that struggled for the first half of the year. Wright started 7 games and made 40 tackles and 5 passes defensed. Over the final 8 regular season games, including 5 starts from Wright, the Ravens had the league's best pass defense and the second best defense overall. The 6-year pro was an original 3rd-round pick of the San Diego Chargers, and after 4 years there, he signed with the 49ers last offseason, and he was released just 4 weeks later after he didn't find a spot on that team. Wright came to Baltimore and had a rough game in his first action versus his former team, San Francisco. And a former Raven, Torrey Smith, burned Wright for a long touchdown in the first half. And then Wright gave up a second touchdown later in the game. But he showed his toughness, and he bounced back and ended up having a really good season with them. And now they've signed him. And I just think this is a great story.
It is a great story. And we have to give a shout-out to Coach Harold Strauss, who is the one who molded these boys into young men. And it's not only about football. He worked a lot on character. He's a man of faith.
Yes,
and
he did.
A man of tremendous character. And he's really, even for not only for the young men who went into the NFL, but the ones who didn't, who've gone on to live their lives. He was a wonderful example for them.
He was. And, he did everything.
He is. And I think he's still coaching.
He still is. He just did everything possible for these kids. I remember him making them do cleanup days. This is how you build character. We're not just practicing for a football game. we're going to go do cleanup days. If you remember, we got those computers donated.
Yes, we did.
And we needed people to help unload them. So we had like 50-something computers, 60 computers, and the football team shows up because we called Coach Strauss.
It was pouring rain.
Pouring rain
on the weekend.
And a dozen of these young guys show up, and they're unloading the U-Haul and carrying these computers in and setting them up
that were donated to Colton Middle School all those years ago.
And just little things like that stand out in my memory. He set up special tutoring programs to make sure that every player made grades, and a whole bunch of his football players were on the honor roll. I mean, this was like a big thing that they touted. You are a student athlete, student first. And I mean, I just love it. And so these kids were winning on and off the field. And, Charisse goes pro, which is amazing.
A whole bunch of them did.
But more importantly, they all graduated from college, right? They got those college degrees, and he helped push that to make sure they could be successful on and off the field throughout their lives.
The thing about most NFL players, we see the people who are a member of a particular team for years and years and years, and they stand out. But the reality is that most of these players will hop teams.
Yep.
And the reality is that, an NFL career is a short-lived one because
a lot of these guys, it's like 3 years.
Yeah, it's so hard on the body.
Yep.
And so, they have to be able to know who they are and have a sense of self when they are done with the NFL to be able to live productive lives. Some of them will get lots of sponsorships and endorsements and et cetera, but not all of them will.
Yeah.
And so, I think that Coach Strauss's focus on making them men before making them football players was the right way to go.
Yeah, so that they can be successful no matter what life throws at them.
Exactly. So I'm really glad you shared that story.
Thank you.
We got to talk just a little bit about what happened yesterday in Michigan in the last couple of minutes here of the
Michigan?
show. Michigan. Yeah, Hillary came in second place.
What?
Would you stop?
The anointed one did not win?
No, she didn't. She got 48.3% of the vote, and Sanders got 49.8%.
So he got almost 2% higher than her.
Yes.
Wow.
Now Trump took Michigan 36.5%, then Cruz at 24.9%, and Kasich at 24.3%. I actually thought Kasich would do better, being from neighboring Ohio. I thought that he would be number 2.
Well, what's interesting is Kasich was originally his polls were much lower than that, so he rose up, significantly at the end, but he obviously didn't get enough to overtake Trump and Cruz.
So there's been lots of discussion about, if it goes to a brokered convention, are they going to steal the election from Trump? And I hate that argument because it goes to a brokered convention because nobody won a plurality. Nobody won has enough delegates to be able to get to be the nominee. It doesn't mean that they're conspiring to steal anything from Trump.
And the delegates that get there have a right to vote. The first round they have to vote for their pledged person, but after that they get to vote for whoever they want.
Right.
And they're making calculations. They're making decisions based on who they think is most electable, who they think is best for the party, who best fits with what they believe. And it's a process. It's a process, and it has rules. And so you're right. It's not stealing from anybody. But if you go to a brokered convention, there is a strong possibility that it fractures certain groups in the party, that there'll be certain people that are dissatisfied with whatever the result is, and and I could very much be one of those people who'd be dissatisfied if Trump ends up as the nominee in a brokered convention. I'm leaving the party.
Well, and there are a lot of people who, if he's not the nominee, they're leaving the party. And as far as I'm concerned, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? This is, and that's part of the discussion about Trump, is that he's the guy who is most likely to fracture the party, one way or the other. And that's not healthy.
No.
He's created this cult of personality. But
I have to say, I have a lot of Trump followers and fans on my Facebook page, and the depth of their understanding of the issues, it's not even a millimeter thick.
Yeah.
The way that the knee-jerk name calling.
Yeah.
That's their first thing. You're stupid. You're this. You're weak. You're what?
Yeah.
It's like, really? That's all of the mental capacity that you have is to call people names?
Yeah.
Whatever, dude. You're the lightweight.
That's right.
So, now that I just called them a name. So at 6:59, the show is over for today. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And thank you so much for joining us here for On the Brink Morning Show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. Have a great day.
The chemical, physical, kryptonite. Let's do the bass and the fading light. Oh, we were bound to get together, bound to...
You're listening to KCAA, Loma Linda, California. The best station in the nation.
I'm Chris Maurer, CNBC Business Radio. Stocks look ready to march lockstep with oil today. Stock futures are pointing to a higher open as crude trades higher. Another food scare for Chipotle. One of its restaurants north of Boston has been shut down after a few employees became ill. At least one worker has a case of norovirus. There have been no reports of any customers getting sick. The restaurant is being cleaned and disinfected. Health inspectors will determine when it can reopen. Applications for home loans edged up slightly in the latest week despite a rise in interest rates. The Mortgage Bankers Association says they were up 0.2%. Volume is still 20% higher than this time a year ago. Valiant Pharmaceuticals is adding 3 directors to its board, including a representative of Bill Ackman's hedge fund, Pershing Square Capital Management. Once again, stocks are headed for a higher open. Chris Maurer, CNBC Business Radio.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-597-4816. That's 1-800-597-4816. 1-800-597-4816. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Ron Pritchard. For this morning, we've got sunny skies, a high near 76. Tonight, mostly clear, low near 52. Thursday, sunny with a high near 80. Thursday night, partly cloudy with a low near 53. Friday, chance of rain, mostly sunny with a high near 70. Friday night, chance of rain, mostly cloudy, a low near 47. Saturday, chance of rain, mostly sunny with a high near 66. Saturday night, partly cloudy with a low near 48. Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 68. Sunday night, chance of rain, mostly cloudy, a low near 50. Monday, chance of rain, partly sunny, high near 65. Monday night, chance of rain, mostly cloudy, a low near 50. Tuesday, a chance of rain, partly sunny, and a high near 66. That's your weather forecast for this hour from KCAA 106.5 FM and 1050 AM, the stations that leave no listener behind.
It's time for your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker. In Corona, we have an accident. The left lane is blocked on the 91 westbound before 6th Street, Maple Street. A crash with a motorcycle is blocking the left lane. Traffic is backed up to McKinley and stays slow to Green River. East is slow from Adams to Arlington. 71 south is slow from Euclid to the 91. In Ontario, another accident. The shoulder is blocked on the 10 westbound before Euclid. An earlier crash has been moved out of lanes. Traffic is backed up to 4th Street. In Lake Elsinore, slow traffic on the 15 northbound between Indian Truck Trail and Temescal Canyon Road. The 15 north is slow from Indian Truck Trail to Cajalco and again from Hidden Valley Parkway to Limonite. South is slow from the 210 to Foothill and again from the 10 to the 60. In Paris, slow traffic on the 215 northbound between the Ramona Expressway and Oleander Avenue. Paris in 215 north is slow in pockets from Ramona Expressway to University. South is slow from Mount Vernon to Columbia. 60 west is slow from Heacock to the 215. This has been your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker.
Here's the latest. I'm Tiffany Griffith. A big surprise in Michigan as the expected winner, Hillary Clinton, loses to Bernie Sanders.
But I just want to take this opportunity to thank the people of Michigan who kind of repudiated the polls that had us 25 points down a few days ago.
Sanders says the results of last night's contest proves his revolution is strong in all parts of the country. Clinton got an overwhelming victory over Sanders in Mississippi last night, while Donald Trump scores wins in Michigan, Mississippi, and Hawaii. Ted Cruz won Idaho's GOP primary. And Clinton and Sanders are set to debate tonight in Miami for a 9 o'clock Univision debate that will also air on CNN. And thousands are expected to flock to Simi Valley, California today to bid Nancy Reagan farewell.